Hopefully you can see here I've got the dongle on the bow now. Basically what I've done is I've put it USB side towards the button. That means it should be easier because there's a clip here, there's a spring-loaded clip, which makes it easy to take off. So if I put it that side, it'd be impossible to get it off. So remember that if you're loading yours up here. So the light, little green light, is towards the button, and the spring clip is out towards downrange, should I say. So to turn it on, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Mantis app, and it's going to say connect. So basically we're going to press the button on here. Once it's blinking green, flashing like that, we can press the connect button. And it'll say it's connecting. It's just calibrating now. Set the bow down on a still surface to calibrate. What I'll do is, because the wind's knocking it a bit, just put it on the floor and just wait for that to connect. Okay, it's calibrated really quickly that time because it wasn't moving around. So make sure you use it like this and keep it nice and fixed in one position. Sessions are currently limited to 30 arrows per session. Hit the button when you're ready to go. Open training. Can you see there it's taken 3 shots, just 3 arrows. And if I go to the what's my timings and the placement, so the placement hasn't been recorded yet. So I'll go to the first arrow. Just choose that as being in there. Second one, middle, third one, just to the right on the line. And that was it for those. Okay, so we're back indoors with the app connected to the PC. So we can't, or we're not going to connect at the moment anyway. Actually, we can do because the bow's in the room, so we could pretend. Hang on. Right, so I'm back now. So this proves something, that it was actually, I found the dongle, it was actually upstairs in my jogging bottoms from the other day. So you've got to be careful. You can lose this thing. I know it's not the smallest thing, it's not the largest thing, but you've got to always remember where it is. If you've left it on the adapter on your bow, or a different bow, or if it's in the box, or if it's in your archery bag somewhere. Anyway, so I found it now. That's good. So we can get on with this. Right, so how you'd normally connect it is you'd press the button as you saw outside. You'd press it so it was green, flashing, which it is now, and then I'd press the connecting button, which I've done. And that's going to calibrate it. So really what I've done is I've just got the dongle sitting on my desk here. I haven't got it on the bow, but let's pretend it was on the bow. So it's picked up that I've started off with my left-handed recurve bow here. Obviously I could change the settings down here and change it if I wanted to. So normally you would press start, and so it now be recording, and you could actually start taking your shots. But how do we stop training? That's a good question, actually. So what I wanted to show you was the liveness. I mean, it's just sitting on my desk. I'm not touching it at all, and you can see a little bit of movement here, but I'm going to pretend as if, and I'm going to pick it up and pretend as if it was actually sideways on my bow, and you can see me just sort of trying to hold it steady, but slightly moving it around the center spot there. Anyway, so this is the live view, and you can see the cant on it as well, slightly as well. So I sort of that's more level. You can see on the left there, where if I go really sideways, way, then I go on the right hand side. So that's quite a good live view, especially if you're coaching someone, or if you're being coached, they can look at your tablet or your phone while you're actually going through your sort of setup and shooting routine in live mode. So that's great. So they're still in the training tab on the bottom here. This is not going to give me anything until I've actually done some shooting, but the live mode is still giving me something here. Right, so I'm not going to shoot with this, but I'm just going to set it down there again. But what I am going to show you are some of the shots that I did. Now I didn't manage to get, it's limited to 30 shots a session, but I didn't manage to get that many out of it, to be honest. The problem I found was that just when I was finished shooting and put my bow down and then walking the phone to the target, I kind of found that by the time I then recorded my scores, pulled my arrows and turned around, my phone had gone off, and then when I needed to go back to the bow, I needed to connect the app to the bow again and then recalibrate the bow, which was a bit of a pain every time. But and also that stopped the session and made this, obviously I'd only done 18 shots, and then I had to start again and do another 9 shots, where really that should have been 27 shots in one session. But I don't know whether that was me. I don't know if it is because my phone timed out, switched off, or in inactivity, as they say, setting on it. So I just need to sort of play with that to make sure that it stays on, because I was only walking, well, not very far from the bow, probably about 10 meters, whereas obviously I may be walking 70 meters and back. So that's why I've got 4 separate sessions here, really, all at different times. These were kind of just practice shots, and I've got my average scores here. My last one, I kind of took it a bit more, I was more seriously, should I say, and I did 3 sort of good shots on that one to see what it came up with. But on this 18 shots here, this is quite a lot of shots. Actually, I won't show you that one because it can get a bit confusing with too many arrows. But we'll go to the 3-shot one, which I've just selected. Now on here, you can see there's 1, 2, 3 on the bottom here. I've highlighted number 3, so it's only showing me the 3rd arrow. And from here, I can see the blue line, which was the setup. So you can see me coming up and then down, and my right to my left on that one. So obviously when you do set up, you're obviously going to, some people might come up higher and then drop down lower, which is obviously what I did. And my right to my left, I suppose I was just really settling here until the end point. And then my holding, I mean, it was quite good, really. That is pretty good along the line. I wasn't sort of deviating up or down at all, but I was sort of going a little bit left and right on that one. I must see that. And then release. I was just going to actually go back to this actually and see the setup was quite. There's not a bad line actually on that. The hold. I think what I did was I think I actually started high and then came down and then jiggled a little bit to the left and right, and then on the release, well, it's like a crazy child's painting, really. That's the release. I can't really tell you much about that, but it wasn't a great straight line, I must admit. It's really difficult to just decipher that one. I'm just going to go back to the first arrow and have a look at that one as well. So the setup was pretty good. I came in, I came down, and again the hold was pretty good on the up and down. It was just a little bit left and righty, and again the sort of release was a bit all over the place, to be honest. And I think you might see that the second one. See the setups, not bad. Again the hold's pretty good up and down, but left and right it's a little bit left and right, and the release is nice kind of sine wave here, but it's The up and down was a lot better on that one. I don't know what we've got going on here, crazy stuff at the end. If you want to as well on here, you can actually take notes against each shot, but you can play the shot all the way through actually. So we'll do that on the first arrow. Was that my highest score? Yes, it was of the 3, 89.3. So we can see where that arrow is going to land or whatever was happening. And then release all the way through, if that's the arrow landing. I don't actually know if it is. But one thing you have to make sure you do is with these arrows is that it's going to be really important that, I suppose, your placement is correct. Now, I wasn't exact on these placements, so you're going to have to really know which arrow went where, which may be a bit more of a problem at 70 meters or 90 meters, etc. Thus, I take it the only way to get around that is to actually shoot numbered arrows in order, and then check them when you're down at the boss, down at the target end. So that was the trace screen of the historical screen. Now this is the pitch, and we're still working on 1, 2, 3 arrows here. Obviously, if there was more, obviously up to the maximum of 30 along the bottom here, there would be a slider bar, and you could move between the two. So this is the 1, 2, 3 arrows. It's highlighting the first one because I've highlighted it down here. So to me, that looks pretty good. It's top and bottom. Second one, it still looks fairly straight to me. I mean, there's not much in it. It's a little bit more of an angle in that third one, I must admit. So there's something good to see if you're kind of, I mean, those are quite angled, aren't they, on this demonstration screen? What have we got up here? So starting from the ready position, teal's the bow coming up, green's the bow coming down as you knock it, yellow as you're getting closer to your target, orange is when you're 2 degrees before you release, white is the movement the bow makes after your release. Okay, so you can, in this video window, you can trace that back as well. But let's jump forward. It's because there's a timer tab on here as well now, where you can see your split timings, which are color coded. So again, there's 3 arrows showing on this screen. We're just highlighting the first one. So we've got our average time, we've got the holds and the setups. So it's really good for consistency to show that. And that was the placement screen at the end that I showed you, where you could highlight it. And normally what you do is, once you go up to the target, you click on one, and then you would put your finger onto the phone or tablet and click roughly where your arrows went to and what your score was. So they were my shots there. Let me just show you what 18 looks like. It's quite a lot. Obviously you can see the numbers along the bottom here, going all the way along. So if I drag it, you can see all the way up to number 18. And you can see, look at that, crazy. What was it doing there? I had the bow sideways. I don't know what I was doing with a lot of those shots. And then the timings again, and the placements with a lot more dots on them. So this is pretty good that you can come back later on and look at the sessions and go through it. So you don't have to be, you can go outside, record it. If you want to have a look at them live, that's great. But you can always come back and have a look at them later on. There's a training group in here where you can add people to train together, either remotely or in the same place. And obviously I've showed you this before in another video, the settings where you have whether you're recurve left-handed, which way you've pointed the mount. And I had this set up wrong to start off with. I had it on right and I needed it on left. You'd sort of know that in the live panel. You'd know if you were moving the bow up or down. It should go up if you move it up, and not the opposite. Okay, there is an instruction guide in here as well, and a shot detection troubleshooter, which I haven't had to use at the moment. And you can report issues in here as well. Okay, so where's my history? Right, we are here. I just wanted to show you some of the images that Mantis have put out there. And this one is one of Brady Ellison's shots. And it's very smooth. As you can see, you've got a curve coming around here. The score was 95.7. You've got a good curve coming around here. And the release was very straight there as well, smooth. So what we've actually said is that the more controlled it is, the shot, the smoother the lines are going to be. On this one, this is also another one of Brady's, or several of his shots, to be honest. Just look how similar every shot is. I mean, the consistency is fantastic, to be honest. And look at the smooth curve coming in here as well. So the setup is very good, and then the actual shot and the release being the red is on here. So the setup was up, a bit like mine actually, and then came down to level, and the left and right was a little bit left, and then right underneath there. This was another one of consistency. As you can see, so many lines taking the same path, shows that it's a very, very consistent, a lot of shots there. And finally, Brady's timing on that timing screen. The hold is pretty much similar here, very similar. Don't forget we're talking seconds and tenths of seconds here. And the setups, so it's a block, 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 and then just a little bit more at the top here, but you know, very consistent again. So to sum up, what do I think about it? What do I think about this Mantis X archery shooting system? Well, I think it's really good. I mean, there's, as far as I know, there's not anything else like this out there. The app seems to be updated quite regularly. We've already had that timings added on since I've had the app. It looks really good. It's something I think you have to work with. I'm dying to try it with my compound as well, just to see how the curves and things look like and what I should be looking out for. But it's also about being able to analyze the data afterwards, and knowing what to look for, whether the setup is good, left, right, whether the hold is right, and definitely what's going on with that crazy release scribble. That is something to look out for. Obviously we can look at the pitch and the timings. See, I took a bit longer on that third one. And it's really just getting to know it and to actually use it some more. But I think it is a very good sort of system and gives you kind of real-time feedback and something that you can look at without sort of just having to be able to video yourself, taking shots and things like that, or with mirrors or sort of a loop on an iPad video, things like that. You're actually seeing what your shots are doing, whether you're canting the bow and the timings and everything like that. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm looking forward to using it a lot more. Right, that's it from me on this video. Thanks very much for watching. If you haven't seen the other ones in the series where I unboxed the Mantis X, please have a look. If you like the video, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll speak to you soon.